Spotlight on Frazee is sponsored by these community-minded businesses and organizations. Frazee Family Foods. What a hometown grocery store should be. Friendly staff, family-owned, and a wide variety of groceries to fulfill your needs. The City of Frazee and Frazee Event Center, featuring a 5,000 square foot room, a built-in stage, and a full-service bar. Perfect for a multitude of events. Call or click to book your event.
Welcome to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ledke, and I'm here at Frazee High School with Nick Courneya, Athletic Director, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, I'm the Activities Director, and then I work with students on truancy or some small behaviors once in a while that come up. You bet. Yep.
And so, how are things going with the kids here this year?
It's been an enjoyable year. We're moving on to what we hope is a spring season coming up. After 10 inches of snow, you don't know how that looks like, but we wrapped up our winter activities here, just wrapped up last week with our last game here with boys basketball. They lost East Grand Forks. It was a fun game all the way to the end up in East Grand Forks. But the boys, they had a fun competitive season with a young squad. We were returning most of our guys. We are losing a couple seniors, but our youth of the program played a lot this year for that boys basketball program. Our girls basketball, they got better and better as the season went on. Pretty much every school was nervous of playing our girls in the sections because they knew they could be upset by them. So that's our girls ended their season with a close game with Pelican Rapids, but everybody was nervous on playing them. A wrestling program. They had strong. They ended up second in the section behind UNC. It was a one-match duel. Basically, could have gone either way. We had 8 individuals qualify for the state, which was remarkable. We didn't have any place winners out of the group, but we had a strong showing with a lot of numbers down there.
Well, and those that's a younger group too. Yet you're going to have a lot of those coming back for next year.
Yep. Overall, when I look at all our programs this year, was pretty young. Pretty young. Even our dance program, they competed at a high level all season. They fell short by by a tie, advanced into state and jazz. So I know they're hungry to get back there. And Coach Isabel Mateka, she's already at it here with some skill. She had her skill day and tryouts, so they're reloading for next season. We have that cooperative agreement with Detroit Lakes, where we have some young ladies that compete with Detroit Lakes Gymnastics, and they placed second this year in the state. So
tremendous.
It was. So they had a fun winter, and again they'll be looking to get back there this upcoming season, which next school year. Mm-hmm. Coming up here soon, we have our musical March, I believe it's 23rd, 25th, and 26th. We have it's Mary Poppins musical. So the 23rd is a Thursday, and then they skip the Friday because we have a volleyball play date on the 25th and 26th. You'll see it posted on Facebook. It'll be out there, the dates and times. So that part's coming up. Our robotics has already been on the road up in Duluth. They had a good, strong competition. They're making some adjustments, but they felt really solid about their performance that way. And FFA is always going both directions with events. So yeah, there's still a lot going on. But we got our spring sports now, and activities have started. They're inside. As it looks, we just got 10 inches of snow, so they're a little nervous about when they think they can get outside. But we know it'll come. It's just when.
So now, with the new football field and track and stuff, will that all be ready now this spring?
So coming this spring, what we're aware of. So the seed is down for our football field. It was a dormant seed, so we're hoping to see how that takes this spring. So we're going to have to monitor that and make sure we're keeping, students and people off of it. The track has one layer of asphalt put down before it got too cold. What they have to wait for is some consecutive 50-degree weather days. And that could be late May, could be early May. It all depends with Minnesota and their spring and the weather. So as of now, they don't have a track to run on. We could have one towards the end of the season, but that's all trial and error by what Mother Nature gives us. the part we do have in our back pocket is Detroit Lakes works well with us. They allow our students to, we bus them over there to get some key practices in. So we're still getting the availability to track. It's just it's not out our back door yet. And then we're going to monitor it as the summer goes on to see where things sit with our football field this coming fall. Can we play 4 full games on it, or are we going to have to adjust and play 2 so that we don't truly rip it completely apart and have to start over too? So there's some trial and error yet. We got to see as the summer goes on how that facility will be looking this coming fall.
Okay, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back with Nick Courneya. Welcome back to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Lutke, and I'm still here at Frazee High School gym with Nick Courneya. Hi, Nick.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Yes.
Yeah, we made it back.
We did. We're back in action. So, alluding on, where our activities are at, moving into the spring. You look outside, it can be disheartening to know where's spring activities. But I think one piece, it is always a exciting time for some schools in Mattress, because it's always what we wait to see is this year, or it's every 2 years, the high school league has to kind of revamp the classification. What class does a school compete in? And then your sections and who you compete with. So that was this year. And for our school, that's always kind of an exciting time, nervous time, because we're traditionally always on the bubble. Some schools always know, yep, this is where we're at. We always seen it. We're always typically on the bubble. And when I say the bubble, is the high school league makes cutoff numbers that determine what class programs compete in. And we've always been on that bubble, and they look at that with your student enrollment in grades 9 through 12. So they pull those numbers in the fall, and then they come out here in February and March and show you, okay, here's what your enrollment number is, and here's the breakdown of the classification. So, volleyball to be in Class A, you have to have an enrollment of 210 or less. Okay? We were at 212. So that puts us in Double A. We're always on the bubble.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part with our enrollment, the size of our school and community. We're always on that bubble, and we end up either being the small fish in the big pond, just like I just showed their volleyball. They're the small fish right now in the big pond, so they're still going to compete against Thief River, Perm, Dilworth, Glen, and Felton. Some of those schools, Perm right now officially is double our size. Yeah. We were at 212. They were at about 440 enrollment. So that's the tough part of where we sit with our enrollment. So yes, it's an exciting time. We always wait to see, okay, where do we sit? So our volleyball program, our football program, and both basketball programs, they were on the bubble, and all of them met the requirements for Double A and not Single A. We do have an option to appeal, which I'm working with the high school league on to see if there's variables that they can consider to put us in Class A. So that is a part, again, that is kind of exciting because we're kind of waiting to see where that goes. Now, that was kind of an unfortunate piece of presenting. All on the flip side of it, our baseball and softball programs, those numbers were different. The cutoff was 218. So we were 212, we made Class A. So now we're sitting more in the upper end of Class A with some activities. So those programs, or those coaches, Mrs. Bachman and Mr. McCulson, were pretty excited to see that come out, because traditionally we've been Double A with those programs. So that is, kind of how that piece lays out. Now, the high school league, once they get that, now they'll start dividing the state up and give you your section assignment and who you'll be competing with in sections. So it's kind of a long process. One thing too to let the public know, most of our schedules are complete for next fall and winter. Football is not yet at this time because of this process.
Yeah.
They have to wait that out because the high school league helps with scheduling of our teams who we play. And it's based upon proximity, size, enrollment, how well your record's been in the 5 years. So they take all those factors and they try to put together the best schedule they can for these football programs. And they have to wait, some schools, an example, Underwood's always on the bubble. Sometimes they're 9-man and sometimes they're 11-man. This year they qualified for 9-man, so they always have to wait till all that is taken care of before they start building a schedule. So we won't see a football schedule until June. So that, and then from there we will move forward with, our home games and how our facility will look. Is our field going to be able to handle four or five games next fall, or are we going to have to monitor that and maybe only play 2 games? So that's still up in the air, but spring is an exciting time every 2 years for us because we get to see where we align and who we play against.
Well, it's amazing, that the numbers aren't similar between the different activities. I would have thought they would just had a standard rule.
Yeah, and that's, I do get asked that, and and why that number changed. Why is basketball at 210, and why is baseball at 218? And what it's based upon is all schools, we have to register with the high school league each summer the activities we want to compete in, and they take that list. So not all schools will compete in baseball, or not all of them will have softball. And what they do is they take that list. Okay, there's 335 schools competing in baseball, and we have a 4-class system. Now they got to divide up 335 schools by 4 classes, and then try to mimic where those enrollments sit. So there's going to be your high end, and there's going to be that bubble. And you don't want to be on that bubble sometimes, but that's where we typically fall with all of our activities. And sometimes it's more often than not, we end up getting bumped up to the bigger class. That's just what has been happening. But again, softball, baseball this year fortunately made the cut. They're going to be Class A, not this spring. It'll be the spring of 2024 that they will start that competition. So all of that is for the next 2 years to come.
Well, I appreciate you being on the program, Nick, and letting us know how things are going. And it's always a pleasure to have you here, because I learn something new every year.
Yeah, correct. No, and I know, and what I just explained, I know has always been kind of a topic of a discussion, because it's kind of hard to understand, and until you deal with it for a year or two, then you get a little feel for it, and I can explain it. But yeah, if people ever have questions, feel free to ask, because I can usually explain it pretty well for them.
All right. And so, this is the end of our program for today. Next week, we'll have Bricker Ware will be taking over. So remember, pet the dog, hug the kids, kiss the wife, and wave at the neighbor. The next person you wave at could be your next best friend. And Bricker will see you next week on Spotlight on Frazee.